Hello and welcome to all of you. This is Smita here with a video presentation of the chapter Deep Water by William Douglas from Class 12 Flamingo textbook. The theme of the story, The Deep Water. The story is an autobiographical extract from the book of Men in Mountains by William Douglas. The author narrates how his unpleasant childhood experience in a beach and the misadventure in YMCA pool made him develop phobia of water. The author's phobia of water affected his fishing trips, swimming, boating, canoeing, and other water related sports. His indomitable spirit, determination, willpower, hard work, and constant practice with the help of the instructor helped him to overcome his fear. So, let me provide you some additional information about the author as well as the narrator of the story. William Orville Douglas was born in the year 1898 and died in 1980. He started his career in teaching and later he served as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. He was nominated by Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the US, when Douglas was 40-years old. In fact, he was one of the youngest justices appointed to the court. So, let's have a look at his inspiring real-life story which deals with the concept of phobia. So, to be more precise with the concept of the chapter that's phobia, let me delineate the basic difference between phobia and fear. Fear is an emotional anxiety and response to objects or events which is often normal. So we don't have to worry about it because it's just a temporary response. On the other hand, phobia is a persistent fear which causes stress, anxiety disorder and affects at emotional and physical level. It often has its roots from a childhood traumatic experience. So, the concern is that if phobia is left untreated, it can lead to depression and low self-esteem. Hope this story will inspire you to overcome your fear or phobia if you have any. Let's have a look at the summary of the chapter Deep Water. The chapter starts with Douglas' decision to learn swimming at YMCA pool. At the age of 10 or 11, the author decided to learn swimming from YMCA pool to get rid of the fear of water he developed during his childhood. His mother has reminded him about the drowning incidents in Yakima River. Let me give more emphasis to this point. The location that you're watching right now in the video is Yakima River. Yakima River is a tributary of Columbia River in Washington state. It's the longest river in Washington, stretching for about 344 kilometers with an average drop of 9.85 feet. So, he preferred YMCA pool as it's safe due to its gradual drop from 2 to 3 feet deep to 9 feet deep. The YMCA pool brought back the author's unpleasant memories and fear of a childhood incident, which was the first reason for his aversion, means strong dislike towards water. The incident is somewhat similar to what you are watching right now in the video. When the author was 3 or 4 years old, his father took him to a beach in California. He was knocked down by strong waves, and the waves which swept over him left an aversion towards water. Father laughed without realizing that the incident has left a terror in his heart. Finally, he decided to learn swimming in YMCA pool instead of the dangerous Yakima River. The author was just 11-year-old when he started learning swimming with the help of a pair of water wings like the one used by the child in this video. He was not aware that a misadventure was awaiting him which affected almost his entire life. A big 18-year-old boy bullied him by tossing him to the deepest end of the pool. He drowned to the bottom of the pool despite his effort to hit the bottom and make a big jump to the surface. He failed thrice, suffocated, choked, lungs ached, heart throbbed, as if he was struggling in a nightmare. His efforts to scream for help was all in vain, and he experienced terror with no boundaries. Gradually, he became dizzy, as if he was at the verge of death. Apparently, someone rescued him when he became unconscious. The next part of the story is the impact of the fear due to the drowning incident in YMCA pool. The night after the misadventure, the author couldn't eat as he trembled, cried, and fell sick to his stomach due to the impact of the drowning incident in YMCA pool. Even after years passed, the fear remained as a handicap which prevented him from entering pools, lakes, and rivers. The terror which grabbed him like a phobia ruined his fishing trips and deprived him of the pleasures from water sports like canoeing, boating, and swimming. Douglas became determined to conquer his fear by hiring an instructor who made him practice an hour each in 5 days a week. He gave him constant practice and proper instructions to shed off his fear. The instructor adopted a very unique method for teaching him swimming. A belt was tied around him with a rope and pulley attached to it. The firm grip of the instructor or the other end of the rope helped him to gradually shed off his fear. He gave him instructions regarding exhaling underwater and inhaling above the water. Perfecting each step helped him to gain command over his legs and learn different strokes. Ultimately, the instructor made him a perfect swimmer. The instructor was confident about Douglas' ability to swim like an expert, but Douglas wanted to ensure that the fear should not return in the absence of the instructor. So, he went to Lake Wentworth and swam 2 miles across the Stambach Island, where the fear returned in miniature when he was in the middle of the lake. He gained courage by talking to the terror and swam ahead. When he visited Warm Lake, he realized that he had conquered his fear of water, as he could swim like an expert without fear even in the absence of the instructor. The author realized that in death there is peace, and terror we have to confront is the fear of death. He remembers Roosevelt saying, "All we have to fear is fear itself." He expresses his satisfaction and relief by brushing aside his deep-rooted fear. The message that we get from this chapter is that fear can be conquered only through hard work and determination. Hope you are inspired by the true story of Douglas on how to defeat fear. After the summary, now it's time to reflect upon the problem highlighted in the theme of the chapter, that's phobia. I would like to share the response of 3 of my students speaking on their fear and phobia, which will be followed by a video of a psychologist who speaks on common as well as unusual phobia and its solution.
I am Suja Karmakar from class 12B of Kendriya Vidyalaya number 1 Port Blair. Today, in reference to the chapter Deep Water, I want to narrate an incident. To be very frank, I am having a phobia of dogs, which is called as cynophobia. Whenever I see a dog in the middle of the street, I always try to go through an alternative path. When I was in class 9, I used to go to a park which was nearby my house and do some exercise and jogging every morning. I went to the park and was doing my workout. Suddenly a dog came running towards me and gripped my legs. It had a leash around its neck. It was clasping me very much tightly. I struggled almost 15 minutes, but all was in vain. At last the master came and he was searching for his dog. He called, "Stuffy." The dog left me at once and went to the master. My legs were full of scratches. My doctor advised me to take 4 injections at an interval of 3 to 4 days. I always try to take biscuits whenever I go out. Actually, the dogs are not scary, but The falling injections made me scared of them. I don't want to overcome this phobia and go in proximity to these dogs, as the dogs are not human beings, they are animals, so they can't be relied completely. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Yuvraj and I am a student of class 12B. My biggest fear is speaking in front of other people, or we can say in public places, because I kind of have a stammering voice, or we can say I stuck while talking. I fear the most, I can say. So I generally don't often speak to people in public places, because I fear they will laugh and makes fun of me. I was even afraid to make this audio clip, but since I made up my courage, my friends and teachers have told I practice in front of mirror to overcome this problem. Even my parents helped me to overcome this problem, and now I don't really think that this is a problem for me. I don't get afraid. I just speak in public places without any fear.
Good evening, ma'am. I am Bhavna Das, student of class 12th B. And with this audio, I would like to explain a few things about hobbitophobia with reference to the chapter Deep Water. Unfortunately, at the age of 9 or 10 years old, I came to a realization that I may have a slight case of hypotophobia. Some people experience severe emotional reactions to reptiles. Then such cases require immediate intervention by a psychologist. There are many simple methods or approaches like EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, LOA, which is law of attraction, and NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming. You can train yourself emotionally, try and distract away from the presence of the lizard and strengthen your neural responses so you don't have to be afraid of the lizards. And as for myself, I think I've made a lot of progress during the past few years, because I'm not afraid of those creatures as much as I was afraid during my childhood. And I hope someday, the near future, I would be able to completely overcome my fear of reptiles. Thank you.
The most common type of anxiety disorder for Americans are specific phobias, but many people don't get treatment for a specific phobia because it's not always relevant. If you have social anxiety or social phobia, which is the fear of being around people, public speaking, initiating or continuing conversations, that's something that comes up every day. Phobias tend to cluster around common themes: animals, storms, certain natural environments. I think the most unique phobia I've ever seen was someone who was afraid of oak leaves because they felt like the oak leaves looked like a hand that was coming out to reach them. But that's pretty unique. When you're working with someone with social phobia, first of all, we want to dispute some of the beliefs they have, that people are always judging them, that people are thinking badly of them, and frankly, that people are actually paying attention at all. Most people are thinking about themselves most of the time. Most people can be cured from their phobia in a few sessions. And so if it's causing you interference or distress, find a CBT therapist and you can work on getting over it.